Right, today's trip is back down to clear out a bit of extra dead fall that I found on the trail down here last visit. Main reason for my last visit was to ascertain the actual trail, make sure that what I was clearing was actually trail and not something that just looked like trail. But come down in here, there's only one other vehicle in here today. But, quite often you see no other vehicles in here. I see some fresh horse tracks. Not wild horses. I found some wild horse tracks the other week. But that's some fresh domestic horses, that is. Not sure I'd want to bring a horse trailer up through on that road. But I guess you could just ride all the way up. But it's about 8 kilometres up that road. That'd be a pretty boring bloody horse ride, I can tell you. Yeah. However, if this don't make for a good start to the day, I don't know what is. So when I was down in here the other week, I noticed that there was quite a few, fresh horse tracks. That wasn't there the other week. Somebody been up in there with a horse. Not a very big horse, but yeah, will be. Got a few bike tracks up in here as well. Somebody's been up in here with a quad as well. And I noticed they got new cattle fences up here. So my guess would be that that's something to do with that. Right, my turn off is actually right there. So you come up here, old sign down there. This is an old abandoned road that's not really used much now. And just through the trees on this side, you'll notice there's a gap. Bit of flagging on some of the trees here. And this is where the fun begins. By tripping over that tree root. It's a good time in, wasn't it? Right. Oh, it's nice and cool in here. Today's going to be 30 degrees. And there's some bigger trees in here, so I bought the big boys with me today. I bought the 500 with me today. I've still got the 2000. I didn't clear too many of the big trees the other week because if I get my little saw stuck and I don't have this one to cut it free, then I'll really be in trouble. So, yeah. So I will head down through here and clear some more of this garbage off the trail. Right, I'm heading down that way. Oh, I've already cut out a few small ones on the way. Just up here there is a creek crossing. But still wet down in here because it is thunderstorm season after all. Anybody that lives around here will know that stampede time is most definitely thunderstorm season. So as much as hiking in welly boots is not so much fun, but I can tell you now, it's way better than bloody wet feet. And it's pretty wet down in here. So, yeah, that creek's still flowing pretty good. Let me cross over that one. This is the best crossing point in this area. There's this little bit here. But, if you was crossing this in normal boots, it'd be a bit of a problem. In welly boots, no problem at all. Just watch the bank on the other side because there are some slippery rocks in here. Well, trying to cross this in normal boots would be a bit of a pain. In welly boots, no problem at all. Yeah. Yeah, this side's a little wetter. I would actually say that that's a little bit wetter than it was the other day, to be quite honest. But either way, that's good. We're over. I'm heading on this way. Just going to clear this little one out of here and I shall move on. Well, this is progressing well. I'm cutting a lot of these smaller ones off. Must have done about 10 along there, I guess, already. 10, 12, I guess. And heading on this way. Yeah. Still wet in places in here still, so it's kind of just like a find your way in a general direction kind of thing. The old trail is actually full of water, look at it down there. So there is a very nice little bypass on the side trail, so I will take that. And water in the forest is good, lets it soak into the ground slow. That's what the forest needs. It's a pain for us to walk through, but the forest loves it. So. This is a nice bit of forest up through here. I keep trimming bits off and taking bits out and what have you, clearing them off the path. Well, there's a few more off the trail. Yeah, a lot of people ask me why I do this stuff, and I'm just going to walk down here and say nothing, and you tell me why. Just the sound of the creek, birds, sunshine through the trees, lots of deadfall to clear off the trails, and not another single solitary person for as far as you can see. Absolutely perfect. Right, there's a bit of a mess here. I'm going to see if I can do anything with that. They had a great sound. Right, sometimes when you look at a trail, this was the old trail bed, and you look at it through here, it's just 6 or 7 big trees through there. There is a bypass that's a very well trodden bypass up the side of here, so sometimes to keep the trail on trail is worth doing, other times not so much, because if you look up here there's a very clear bypass that's been here for some time. There's no huge benefit to me clearing out 8 to 10 trees down there to try and keep this on trail. However, this big one here, I'm not sure if there's anything I can do with that, but I do have my big saw with me today, so I will see what I can do. It's a bit of a pain in the ass height, that is, but let me see what I can do. Is get this pack off and see if I can shift it. I'm not 100% sure what I can do with that, because that is a fairly big tree, but I will give it a go and see what I can do. Part of the tree that's actually fallen across the original trail, so I have a dilemma. Now, because if I clear this one, I've got to clear 1, 2, 3, 4 more down there, and it doesn't really make any sense. Clear 4 or try and clear 1. So let's see if I can take this off of here. Might be a bit tricky. I don't like the way that's leaning. This might roll down the hill, so if you see me roll down the hill with it, you know it didn't work out so well. Now with a chainsaw, I'd have cut up underneath first for this, just to give it somewhere to go. However, I don't want this to fall fast. It's starting to pinch. It's a bit of an awkward angle because I'm kind of facing downhill. It doesn't really lend itself very well. Ideally, for a perfect cut, I'd be stood the other side, but when there's breaks, that's exactly where it's going to go. So I really don't want to be under there. Let's see if I can. When you're cutting something like this, you've got the top cut, try to make the bottom cut not quite line up with it. If you line them up perfectly, sometimes if you get it too good, and I found this out the hard way, the log will actually just sit there. It won't move. It'll just sit there. So sometimes if you cut a little bit off, I'd usually come about 1/2 inch or so. Thinking about it. There she goes. Now, if you look at the cut, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, let me bring that down here. If you look at how I cut it, this is very steep by the way, which is why I was having trouble keeping my balance. See, I've cut it, but the upcut is slightly off. That gives you way more control of the tree. Now I've got to see what I can do with this. I may have to cut this once more. I do have my piece of rope with me, so I might see if I can actually drag that around. I'll see what I can do. Right, let me get some rope out and see if I can pull it out. Right, so I tried to pull that one round. That is way too heavy for me. So if you look on this side, I've got a rope on there, and the reason I've got a rope on there is I've got to go the other side of that tree to cut that. Now when I cut it, I don't want it rolling down the hill on me. So safety first. I've also left some of these big pieces sticking out here, and the reason I've done that is because again it will stop it rolling. So I'm going to cut this here. That piece of tree root is probably going to come down this hill, so I've got to put a top cut and then I've got to cut in from underneath. So if you see me run, you'll know why, and that's why I've got that piece of rope on it. This is exactly why I bought the 500 for doing stuff like this. That's a bit unexpected. That gap's starting to open up a bit. tell you now, it's warm work. No. I'm being a bit cautious because I can hear that tree making noise. Yeah, she's making noise. It's pretty much all the way through too. Let's see. Don't know if I can. And see if I can finish this cut from here. There we go. See, now I've got the rope on there. If I was still the other side, this log might have been able to do something, but you don't know. But always safety first. I have towed Land Rovers with this line. Trust me, it's strong. But that makes a difference. If you cut it and then suddenly it decides it's going to roll downhill on you, that's dangerous. You don't want to be there. So safety first. Now I can get that out of there. Whew. That's an old dry tree. Not the easiest things to cut. Let's see if I can slacken this rope off of here a bit. That's why I like to use a rope, because you don't have to stand too close. There we go. That is the importance of using a rope. Now, that's going to come down as well, so I can't leave that. That could fall on somebody. See if I can get that down there as well. That's a heavy tree. There she is. And that is how you safely remove the tree. That tree's probably only about 10 inches through, but it's heavy. That bottom piece of that's probably 200-300 pounds easy. It's where a piece of rope makes all the difference. I can't pick up a 200-pound, 300-pound log, but if I put a bite on it or a timber hitch, I can pick it up and drag it. Job done. On to the next one. That was a hard tree. That was I'll put that rope back in there in a second. Yeah, that was a hard tree. That was about 10 inches through. and old dry hardwood too. Now if that was a green tree, I'd have been through there in about half that time, but unfortunately that one isn't. But it's now off the trail, out the way, no longer a problem. Right, on to the next one. See, that's always the dilemma of trail maintenance. Right, if you look at the size of that, and that's a decent sized tree, and it's old hardwood too. That's a bugger to cut. That's hard, as you saw in the video. I had to cut it twice. I was hoping to cut it once and just drag the end round. I was hoping that if I cut it up against there, that gravity would actually just roll it down the hill. That was my plan. It didn't really work. So as you can see, we've got a really good bypass trail up down the side of there, which is well worn in. It's obviously been used for years and years and years. But there's a big tree there, there's two more down in there. So sometimes it's a toss up between, do you cut out one tree like that, or do I try and clear 3 or 4, maybe more down in there, just to try and keep it on trail when there's a really good trail that's obviously been used for years and years and years up that side. So sometimes you've got to weigh it up. Yeah, somebody's been down through that way as well. That looks like more like deer and stuff. I cleared some of these branches off here the other week when I came through, just these ones, and now we've got the big one out the way. That's why I was waiting to bring my big saw. I could cut that with my little yellow saw, the 2000. Absolutely, I know I could cut it with that, but this big boy, the 500, let me tell you, this thing cuts like a baby chainsaw. It's a good workout too. If you want good exercise, take this up as a hobby, I can tell you. Right, so that's that one out of there. On to the next one. If I remember rightly, just up here there's 2 across the trail, but I don't think they're quite that big. So let me head on up this way and see what I find. Back to a little bit of wandering along the creek, just for the sake of doing so. Well, I was here the other week, and I can tell you now, there was a fair amount of water. But I'm convinced there's actually more. And it's, like I say, this is monsoon season. Around here, June monsoon is how it's referred to. And as soon as Stampede starts, it's the Calgary Stampede at the moment, we can get some spectacular bloody storms. So that's why I'm a bit leery. I have all my stuff with me today, should I need to camp out here overnight, because the road in here is about 8 kilometres, and it isn't much better than what I'm walking along, to be quite honest. And it's called a road, but I think I would use the term road loosely. Yeah, it is marginally better than the dirt track, but not by much. So if you're not a confident driver, it's not really somewhere you want to come. Quite often, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I need to cross a creek, if I don't have my welly boots on, I'll find these trees, stuff like this. I call these Dave bridges. But that one looks a little rot. Not sure I'd want to cross on that one, but if nothing else, it makes a good picture. I'm just looking to see if there's any fish in here, because I believe brook trout or something might be up in this way. I did read somewhere that there might be brook trout in here, so not sure. But either way, not here to fish. I'm here to clear trails and take pictures. Right, these were the 2 I was thinking of. I'm going to have a look at these and see what's the best way to cut them, because one of those is very long and goes up over there with a lot of weight on it. And I've cut those before and they suddenly tip up on you. So I might cut this smaller one out at the front here first, just to see what we can do with that. And then I will go from there. So let me set this up here somewhere. Somewhere like that, I reckon. Now, I could easily cut this with my 2000. However, I think I will give it a go with this one. I'm going to cut this one here and see if I can drag that bit round. So actually, it's got a bit of a bend in it. So let's see what I can do with this. She's starting to pinch already. I can hear the saw starting to close up. So. to make noise. Whenever a tree starts to make noise, always slow down, have a look, see what's what. So if you're cutting with a chainsaw, you have the ability and speed to suddenly change. You can whip that through, not a problem. Cutting by hand, not so much. There we go. Now, if I'm really lucky, you might go. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, that looks easy. I can assure you it's not. I have to trim some of these little short ones off here. Now, I need to decide on what to do with this one. I might try the same thing, however, there's a lot more of that tree sticking out the other side of where it's pivoted between these two. And anytime you cut a tree, you've got to think what else is going to move when I cut it. So always a good idea to have a good look around, check, see what's what, make sure nothing's going to move. Cutting by hand, you don't have the speed of a chainsaw, unfortunately, so you have to be a little bit more cautious. Now, if I was cutting this with a chainsaw, I would be in there, lop that off so that the other bit can fall down the other side, and then I would just cut until this was small enough to move. However, when you're cutting by hand, as you can see, it's a lot of work. So you don't want to be cutting it any more than you absolutely have to. So I think for safety's sake, I'll set this up over here somewhere. Wait, we can run the short. Right. What have we got? I'm going to try the same thing. I'm going to see if I can cut it here. Always make sure you've got somewhere to run. If I suddenly have to run out the way, I don't want to be tripping over branches, especially branches that I've just put there. That would be really bad. Right. That could smack me on the head. Get out of there. So I'm going to see if I can cut that one there. If I can, I might better drag it around here, same as I did with that one. Let's give it a go. Natural fact, what I might do, show you the difference between that and the 2000. Yeah, I got a lot of tools. So, see, this saw, the 2000, will cut this tree, but you can hear, it's a completely different sound with the blades. Those are much bigger teeth. I can hear this tree starting to make a noise. Be careful. Yeah. This has got a roll in it and a downwards. I can already move that cut. Now, I do have a wedge with me, which I just put in there. Oh yeah. There we go. See down. There we go. And that is how you move those. Oh, a lot of work by hand, isn't it, eh? But as you can see, they're not overly huge, but the 2000 and the Katanaboy 500, both very capable saws, very capable saws. And I could do most of what I do with the 2000, the yellow handle one. However, the bigger one with the bigger teeth, it's got a longer reach, gives me a better safety margin on the bigger trees, and I like to use like this. These two trees were exactly the wrong height. They're trees you've got to kind of step over. They're a pain in the ass. Can't quite go under them, and you can't quite step over them. So I like to clear those. These are two that I marked up for removal last time I was here. So I'm surprised nothing else moved on that where it goes through the tree. So I will leave that well alone now. It's off the trail. I don't need to touch it anymore, and I will continue on down that way. Right, on I go. Right, that's those two out the way. Like I say, they were just the wrong height. They're off to the side now. They can sit there, decompose, become part of the forest floor. Thank you very much. Yeah. On to the next one. Now sometimes you'll come across bits that are across the trail that they're the same size as what I just cut out, but I don't really need to move them, and sometimes there's no benefit of moving them. Look at this. That's nice down through there now. Easy walk. Yeah, I'm convinced we actually have more water in here than I had the other week, so either way I'll see how far I get up this valley. Look at that. Isn't that nice, eh? I'll take that. Now a lot of people this weekend in Calgary, and this whole week actually, the next 10 days, will be yahooing, yeehawing and all that other good stuff, getting pissed as a parrot and generally having a good time socialising. Well, to me this is kind of socialising in a way, because people that walk up these trails will be a lot happier now because they don't have to climb over all that crap that I've been climbing over, because now it's out the way. So everybody has different things that they enjoy doing in life, and to me, listening to that, like that, isn't that cool? That is very cool. I can sit and listen to that all day long. I could literally pull up a chair, sit and listen to that and fall asleep, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely none. Very nice indeed. Right, I'm going to continue on my way. There's a couple more small ones coming up. I shall clear those out the way and do some more later. Next one's for removal. Never a shortage of trees to cut off the trail, I can tell you, especially when nobody's been through here in a long time. Which is why what I do is I'll come through trails like this And every time I walk through, I just clear another little bit. Can't do it all in one hit, it's just too much for one person to do. But I'll keep chopping away at it. That one there, I'll get that off of there, and then I'll be on my way. Done and dusted. Now one thing you can do, when you cut pieces like this off of a trail, it was starting to eat down through the bank on that side. What you can do is just put the bits that you cut off, just lay them along the side of the trees like this, up against there. Helps give a structure to the side of the trail, otherwise it just slopes off down the hill, and I really don't want to have to be coming up here with a spade and digging it out, so that'd just be too keen. But if you just put them on there like that, up against the side, any soil and stuff and rocks that come down the hill will just sit up against them, and it helps keep the trail flat, and it stops the side of the trolley road in the way. So I will continue on down this way, listening to that creek. That has to be a great sound, though. It really does. Yeah. Right, if I remember rightly, there's some more smaller ones down this way. I will head down there and do some more in a bit. Look at that nice old tree over there, eh? Full of holes. A lot of stuff lives in that tree. See, people see dead trees and all they see is a dead tree. But a lot of insects, bugs, birds, Christ knows what. That's all home. Yeah. Yeah. Right. On I go. That's pretty good. Cleared out quite a lot of little ones down that way. Yeah. Whew, hopefully not two more of them big ones. Oh, this was the rocky bit I came to the other week. The actual trail seems to be over on that side, but I don't know that it's really worth doing much with that, so let me go over there and have a look and see. Well, my walk through the forest continues. Still got the creek on my right hand side, and this is why this is such a nice trail. Look at it. I think if more people knew it was here, more people would probably use it. Back in the day, when it was easier to get to, I guess, there'd have been more people up in here, but as it stands at the moment, there ain't a lot of people come through here. But definitely some. I keep seeing bits of tape that people have put up, so thank you very much for whoever marked that. So I know further down on the old Trail 19, which is down this way, this is Link Creek Trail, but I know further down without the tape that's been put up, it'd be very hard to follow that through there now. This is a little overgrown, but not really a problem to get through. Yeah. We did clear off some of these smaller branches the other week there. We've definitely had some more water through here, because I don't remember seeing all this shale washed across here before. And we've had some deer up in here. Yeah. Yeah. See, somebody's been up in here and put a bunch of tape up in here. We got some tape in the bush there. Yeah. And here I am in the open, being eaten by bugs. Get off, bugs. Always check yourself regularly for bugs, because there are ticks out this way, so just keep an eye out for them. It's one of those things. That's why another reason, good reason for having welly boots on. Try to avoid the long grass and all that kind of stuff. But anytime I feel bugs walking on me, yeah, they can get off and bloody walk. Yeah, not a free ride. Right, I'm going to continue on up this valley, just up round that corner, round there. I'm going to be heading a bit more out, and there's a sun, so I'll have to see how hot it is. It's going to be 30 degrees today, so I'm going to have to see how we get on. Right, so I've just come out the forest that way, out into the meadows, and as you can see, all the dandelions have gone to seed. Yeah. There are literally millions of them. Millions and millions. That is pretty cool, eh? Yeah, so that's the way down through this forest. If you're not sure, this area, that is the way for the trail down through here. It should be a marker on this tree actually. I thought there was one on this tree at one point. No, either way, it down through there is the way to go. And look at that. This was all yellow the other week when I came, and now it's not. Right, I will continue on my way down that way for a little bit. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go because it's going to be a very hot day today. Okay, so that's a quick way to change that plan. I just walked out there a little way, getting eaten alive. Once you're in the sun, in this long grass and what have you, it is full of billions, and I mean billions of bloody mosquitoes. And it's this is prime tick area as well. This grass and these dandelions are way over the height of my knees, so I think I will call that it. I will head back down. There's another trail in this area that needs a bit of attention too. So this is the top end of Link Creek, and if you've just come up trail 19, the Sheep River is that way, that bring you all the way out here. You come into this final big meadow where you can see down across to the road. What you can do is head into the trees. There's several markers here. There's a couple of broken off trees here. If you head into the forest here, this is the old Link Creek Trail, and this is a much nicer walk back, I can tell you. Especially on a hot day, it's going to be 30 degrees. We've got 34 coming. I think a couple of days from now it's going to be 34, so either way, that's a bit too warm for me. So I'm going to head back down through the forest this way, clear up some of the smaller bits that I didn't do on the way up here, and head off to another location. There's another location near here that the trail needs a bit of work, so get off, mosquito. I'm literally being eaten alive here, and I'm in the shade. I stepped out into the sunshine and it was just like clouds. So I think I will avoid that and head down through this way. One last look around. It's very nice. I mean, it's a fantastic place, but it I can tell you now, it's going to be a bloody hot day. Yes, I like to stay in the forest. So, right, I will head on back. Sit and listen to that for a while. Very nice, eh? Love that bloop, 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 bloop sound. It's great, mate. Back up the trail. Lots of these nice blue flowers. I'm not sure what these are. There's lots of those. Yeah. Lots of these white ones too. That's a good thing this time of the year. Definitely into wildflower season. I can see a big tree stump over there that's been ripped apart, so that was obviously a bear or something looking for food. The secret to walking through here is not to stop for too long. If you stop for too long, the mosquitoes catch up with you real fast. Right, let's get back in the trees. There we go. This is more me. Yeah. Might find somewhere to sit down by the creek down here in a bit and have a bite to eat. I did find an old fire ring down here. But, one thing you'll find out here, because you can camp out here all over the show, wherever you want, you'll find the old fire rings, like where people have had campfires and what have you in the past. And that particular one has a nice big flat box, so I will see if I can find that again. Be a good place to sit and have a bit of lunch. Yeah, don't need a fire because it's like insanely warm, but if this was a colder season, that would actually be a good spot. I can see why they picked it. Right, lots of steppy over logs over here. I don't bother cleaning these out. These actually help hold some of the trail together over time, but the really awkward ones that you have to step over, those I get rid of. Yeah. Like down through here, there was about half a dozen of those really small ones down through this section. I cleared all those out, so they've all gone. Right, I will head down this way and find somewhere to stop for lunch. So many little areas like this. There's lots of deadfall across. That one bust out of there a bit more. So I cleared most of these out of here. There's about half a dozen or so. This thing just really comes into its own. It really does. Like I say, I can use the 2000. That will certainly clear the same stuff. But that again was just a little bit too high to step over. So, oh well, it's out the way now. But, and this is my thing. If I do a little bit on the trails each time, a little bit here, a little bit there, cut off a few pieces, it keeps people on the same trail too, because trails tend to braid all over the bloody show just to avoid a log. Well, if I can move that log out of the way in like a couple of minutes, then that's got to be a better plan. Right, I'm going to continue on down here, follow the creek. As I was saying earlier, some people love to be out socialising, getting drunk, and you know, having a good time, which is great if that's what appeals to people. Everybody has something different they'd like to do in life. And they go out, get drunk, they wake up in the morning and think, who the hell is she? Where did she come from? Yeah, but I would rather be walking through here, clearing up bits of trail, doing something useful, trying to find a really nice quiet spot to sit by this creek and enjoy my lunch. I'm not getting eaten by mosquitoes. Ah, this was that piece I cut out earlier. So it makes a difference, see? I don't have to try and climb over this log now. It's there, it's gone, it's out the way. I haven't got to worry about it. That was getting a bit chewed up down that side, so the easiest way to do it is cut them off, stack them in there like that. That helps hold the height side of the trail together, and continue on down here. Those rocks down there would be a good place to sit for lunch. Wonder if I can get down there. They look pretty wet and slippery, and I don't have good boots on. I've got my welly boots on. I've got welly boots on. Yeah, I don't think I'll climb down. If I had my hiking boots on, I'd probably climb down there, but nah. This one here, I looked at this on the way up and thought, shall I clear this, shall I leave it? And it's a fairly easy step over, but it's also a big heavy tree across the thing, and a lot of animals actually use those for crossings. You'd be surprised. I've seen people set up like trail cameras on bits like this, and you'd be amazed at how many animals use those for crossing. So I really don't want to move that out of the way. It's not in my way, I can just step over the damn thing. Yeah, logs like this. Yeah, I've seen them before. People have set up trail cams and stuff on these places and got some amazing footage. Right, these were those two that I cleared out of here earlier. These two were pretty heavy. See now, I don't have to worry about it. Don't have to try and step over them. Just like lolly, lolly, lolly. Job done. Yeah. It also shows people, if they come up through here, that the trail's not been abandoned. You know, it's no longer an official trail, I don't think, but it is a trail that people use. So the official trails get trail maintenance. That's the difference. Official trails get parks and that will come along and clear them all out and all this kind of good stuff. But anything that's not an official trail, they don't. So it's kind of left to people that will come and do it in their own time. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I thoroughly enjoy it. This is, to me, this is like a really good day in the mountains. I love it. Some people like to be climbing up mountains and hanging off of cliffs and scrambling up rocks and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, you can keep all that. Nah, I'm more than happy. There's any bit of this forest along here, anywhere along here at all, I could quite happily just stop and spend the night. You do have to be a little bit careful where you do that, because over there, see that brown lump? That brown lump is an ant's nest, and this piece of ground that I'm on, it is dry, so I know that all of these, look at them, one there, one there, one there, one there. You would, although this is quite a nice clearing, you would not want to camp anywhere near this flat spot, because I can tell you now, you'd wake up in the middle of the night being eaten alive. There are ant hills everywhere in here, so don't camp in places like that. Right, I will continue on down the trail and see what I can find. Right. This is the old firing site that I found. It's shaded in the trees. Normally I would take my belt off, but I don't like to have my bear spray very, very handy, because I'm next to a creek and I can't hear very well. So, as I've said before, Anytime you have food, make sure it's in Ziplocs. My sandwich got a bit spot. Yeah. Make sure it's in Ziplocs and well sealed. The other good thing about Ziplocs, they make good hand containers for food. Yeah, somebody has camped here before, because I'm actually sitting on an old fire ring. And this is what I do for fun on the weekends. Always a good idea when you're sitting near a creek, really keep your eyes and ears open. It's a good spot for lunch. It's flat in here. I can see why people camp here because it's nice and flat. We can make lunch, right? Nice to get that pack off for a while, I can tell you. What a great place for lunch though. I'll show you around in a second. Right, I didn't bring tea today, so I can't do my usual tea shot, but I will do my water shot. Cheers, people. Always make sure you stay hydrated. And anytime you are eating, make sure you have food. Bear spray is always handy. Literally right here. And I have another one in there too. So. There are bears around. I did see one tree over there that had been ripped to shreds. So, yeah. Haven't seen much in the way of grizzly bears up in here. This is, although there's some really big, nice meadows and really good habitat, grizzly bear habitat over that way. Seen black bear track down in here, but haven't actually seen any bears yet. So, seen lots of evidence on. So, where I was sat for lunch, an old fire pit. You'll find lots of these all over the show. People camp. They obviously pulled the rocks out of the river there. And, people camp down in here. It's not a bad spot, I must admit. I can think of much better places. I don't like these trees. A lot of these trees are dead and falling over. So, but if that doesn't make for a good camp spot, I don't know what it is. Personally, I don't like camping next to a creek like this. Too much noise. You can't hear what's coming through the forest and stuff. I like to camp in what I call a quiet forest. I like to have a water source. This would be a really good water source to have close. But in terms of camping, no, I wouldn't camp down in here. Yeah. Somebody did some time ago, by the look of it. I certainly wouldn't light the fire in there now because a lot of duff in there and what have you. All that stuff tends to catch fire. So, although I do have my collapsible water bucket with me, very simple thing that you can take with you if you're out camping is a collapsible water bucket. I have one. It's a 20-litre bucket. Realistically, you can put about 15 litres of water in it. But I can tell you now, 15 litres of water is certainly good enough to put out most campfires. So I will continue on my way. I've got to basically follow the creek downstream, and I'll do some more in a bit. There we go, more ant hills. Look at them, millions of ants all over that thing. I can tell you now, whenever you see those, don't camp within a good distance of those things, because I can tell you now, the ants have a huge range. You think they're tiny, they don't go far, but they do. They spread out and go for bloody miles, I can tell you. Yeah, they find a food source and then they'll lay a trail, and then they'll come back and then they'll tell all their buddies, and their buddies will come and collect all the food. If that food happens to be your tent, guess what? You wake up in the middle of the night with about 1 million visitors, and that's never good. Yeah. Yeah, so don't camp anywhere near. If you see those, just stay well away from them. You want to be a good distance away from them things. You know. Right. All nice wet ground. Whenever you see the ants and that, you know it's dry ground, because they won't build their nests in wet places. But when you think relative to the number of ants in the world, humans are almost extinct. So it gives you some idea of how many ants there are. But listen to the birds in the creek. Isn't that amazing? Right, on I go. Right, nearly all the way back. Time to cross the creek. I cleared out that tree as I come over. When you stood on the bank the other side, you never know whether it's an animal crossing or whether it's a good people crossing. If you mark them, then you can see. If you look across here, this piece this side is fairly deep. So let's see if I can find the deepest bit. So the deepest bit is half about my welly boots. So in normal hiking boots, oh yeah, you'd be getting wet feet right now. This is the other reason I didn't go to the other area that I was going to go to today, because the water up there is even higher. And when I was here the other day, this all up through here, this bit was just a shale bank that you could literally walk right upstream on it. Look at that. Isn't that an amazing sound? Right. Since this is almost at the end of my trail, I think I will use that as my closeout shot. Thank you for coming along. This is a real world test of the 500 and the Silky Big Boy 2000. This is what I actually do with them. See, a lot of people buy them because they're like gimmicks, and oh yeah, I've got to have that for my bushcraft gear and all that kind of stuff. But I actually use them. almost every week. This thing, the big one doesn't come out so often. The yellow one, the 2000, is always on my belt. Never go anywhere without that thing. And it saved my rear end a few times, I tell you. If I need to get a fire going, I can process a lot of firewood. If I need to just build something quick, I can knock up something quick, you know, a couple of branches, put a tarp over, job done. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, so the 500. If you've never used one of these things, they are absolutely amazing. There is a 650, there is a really big one. I'm not sure what I would use the really big one for, but either way, this is the end of my day. I will head on out of here before we get our traditional afternoon thunderstorms. I do not want to be stuck up in here in a thunderstorm, because my little car might struggle to get out on that road. So thank you for coming along, and this is what I do on the weekend.